Welcome to another edition of Soulfire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Love Light. Raven is an aura, past life regression, and clinical hypnotherapist, a quantum galactic Akashic reader, raw Reiki angelic alchemy healing practitioner, and Yu Shui Reiki master. Raven also offers one-on-one spiritual consultations. Book your free 15-minute discovery Zoom call with Raven at ravenshealingarts.com. Lisa is an aura practitioner, raw Reiki quantum galactic Akashic reader, Yushui Reiki master, and offers one-on-one soul coaching sessions. For questions or booking sessions, you can message her at sacredheartquantumhealing.com or at myabundanceflows247@aol.com. You can watch Soulfire Ascension on YouTube and Rumble. You can also listen to Soulfire Ascension on Spotify. Please do like, share, and subscribe, and we hope you enjoy the show. Greetings. Welcome to another edition of Soulfire Ascension. This week, we welcome Monica, so let's play Monica's video. Soulfire Ascension welcomes Monica. Monica is a speaker who addresses topics related to emotional recovery and personal growth. She is the author of Cracking the Sacred Heart Code and has achieved international bestseller status. Monica also hosts the podcast Ascended Earth, the Transfiguration. She utilizes light language in her healing work, collaborating with concepts such as dragons, angels, crystals, ascended masters, and goddess energy. Monica is an initiate of mystery schools and refers to knowledge from various traditions and philosophies. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering, a Master of Science in Telecommunications from Colorado State University, and a Master of Business Administration. Monica also has training and certificates in areas involving spiritual guidance, intuitive practices, and counseling. She integrates science, art, philosophy, and mysticism into her work, serving as a guide, counselor, teacher, and founder of Sacred Heart Awakenings. Live August 8th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you missed the live show, you can catch the replay on YouTube and on Rumble at Soulfire Ascension, or listen to Soulfire Ascension on Spotify. Don't forget, like, share. Oops, and subscribe.
Finish the sentence.
Got a trigger finger, sorry.
You're too excited to get into it.
That's right. That's right. Welcome, Monica.
Thank you for having me.
And we were just talking about what an amazing night to have you on, because as we all know, this is the Lionsgate portal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's very powerful. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
And
before we dive into, topics, maybe we can touch just a little bit about the Lionsgate. Monica, you have a beautiful podcast. And so thank you for your latest podcast that you did on the Lionsgate. I did listen to that today so that I could get a little more familiar with you. And I just loved how you said it's like Christmas for starseeds.
it is.
Because it is.
It's a sacred day for us, a holy day.
Indeed, indeed. So, perhaps from your perspective, can you share a little bit about today and the special energies for our guests?
Yeah, so like I said, it's a very holy, sacred day. On August 8th is when the energy is at its highest potency, heightened energy. Because of the number 8, being such a sacred number. Numbers do have energy to them. They're universal languages, I would say, and it's used a lot of like astrology and stars. If you see it, like how people study it, is really through the numbers as well. But this whole Lionsgate is really like an actual alignment of the planet of Sirius with that of like the sun and the earth, with us. So it's like almost like a triangle, but somehow, there's also the Orion belt that's involved as well. So there's
Mhm.
time and there's a reason why the Giza pyramids were oriented and designed and architect, I would say, the way they are right now. They were in alignment to certain star systems and constellations, and I don't care what any other archaeologists say if they're finding different things, but we do have some rebel archaeologists out there who are finding, the truth, and they're saying it, and they don't care if they're being banned. But I feel like a lot of that veil, well, what we perceive it to be a veil, right, um, is lifting. In other words, that our awareness, our deeper remembrance is coming to the surface of that knowingness, because that is already engraved in our cells and in our Akashic records of remembrance. So it's not just because I'm telling you, but because there is that stirring that is also happening in each of one of our souls, that we're seeing that truth more so, that is, sparking that truth within us, but also unfolding before us. And so this Lionsgate is a perfect turning point. It's the biggest one for 2025 for like throughout, like, in all the history, like, all the years, this is, like, the accumulation of, like, many lifetimes, and I've been calling this a quantum compression is what it feels like. It's like, I don't know, it's a compression of, like, several lifetimes. Maybe it could be, like, hundreds of lifetimes being compressed all at once, and, like, put into, like, this pressure cooker of rice, right? And so there's, like, this boiling and over boiling of us, making this decision of which frequency are we going to step into, and that is the frequency that is, pulsating at a much faster rate, because that is the new Earth's frequency that we're stepping into from
Mhm.
this moment on. From this moment on of this turning point, we're definitely in that new Earth's vibrational pulsating energy right now, and she's going to take all those who are coming with her, you
Mhm.
know.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned Egypt, because I have found that the Egyptians were the first to recognize and celebrate the Lion's Gate.
Mhm. Yes, it's very true. A lot of the ancient civilizations, and there's even like ancient civilizations that we don't know about in our history books. I mean, ancient Egypt is just one of those that is, somewhat recorded, but I don't think there's all the truth in there either, what is being, said. There's also like other ancient civilizations that ancient Egypt got this information from, and that was from Atlantis, that was from Mu, from Lemuria itself, which
Lemuria,
yeah,
yeah.
Lemuria, which are, continents that went under, but we remember that. We do,
Hmm.
our soul, we have that imprinted in us.
And Tartaria, yeah.
Yeah.
The ancient civilizations, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why a lot of us do feel that resonance towards, like, certain things that we feel called to, right? Um, and there's part of that remembrance that's still coming to light. Um, so even though what seems like our memory has been erased, but it's just temporary because, we signed up to temporarily forget, only to know that eventually we would remember. And that is what's happening right now on the planet for so many star seeds and so many other light workers as well. And so I feel like this Lionsgate is almost like the epitome of that, like the icing on the on the ice cream or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And Lisa, did you have something to say? I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Um,
But for like Monica was explaining, that this feels like like this Lionsgate does feel different.
it does.
Mm-hmm.
It feels different than all the other ones that I've participated in. I've been consciously participating in the 8/8 Lionsgate since 2020, so for 5 years. But for me, it's just like today I was just buzzing high on energy all day. Thankfully, the sun was shining here, and I was able to go outside for a little bit. And I am open to receive those solar codes and my DNA
Yeah.
upgrade. And so, for me, I know that, like you said, Monica, this is a holy day, a sacred day, and it's really about honing in on our intentions, what we want for our highest timeline. Where do we
Mm-hmm.
see ourselves on our highest timeline? Who
Exactly.
are we on our highest timelines?
Mm-hmm.
Tuning into that. And so for
Yes.
me, that's just what I've been really feeling like since the end of July. So,
Yeah, it's definitely like a becoming of us, a new version of us, right?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So I got all my information from your website, and I thought your website was very interesting. Can you kind of explain a little bit about what you're doing and offering?
Yeah, so I'm a cosmic channeler and I'm more like a quantum purpose activator, and I work with a lot of light language channeling. So I let the energy really pretty much do its work. So serving more like a catalyst of energy, right? Because it's really all within you. It's not that I'm putting anything in you, or
Mhm.
it's just really like triggering it, and triggering, the word triggering means activation if you look it up in a dictionary. uh,
Oh, okay.
so it's just really like the energy, because energy and sound, right? Because light language for me is almost like sound healing, but it's different, like vibrational sounds of frequencies. And so what that does, that vibration actually moves things, like, it can vibrate and shake things around. Like, so it's almost like catalyzing and shaking it to like, hey, wake up. But if you ever like see like when people put sound on water, you could see like the little ripples of the water moving and stuff. So a lot of more scientists are becoming more awake to this. So they're starting to blend more of their science and findings with that of our spiritual work, and things that
Mhm.
ancients have always known. So I don't think of the stuff that I talk about, I don't consider it to be new age. I consider it to be like ancient wisdom that is being resurfaced and
mm,
remembered and recycled and renewed. Because what makes us much stronger now, during this, because I'm also like helping with a lot of the awakening and the ascension. Like most of us, the light workers and star seeds who are here, we're here for a reason, right? Going through all of this, aside from just like learning as well and completing cycles. But what's going on is that, we're stepping into like these new roles of like being, stepping into our renewal, and we're bringing with us tons of like human lifetimes of experience for those who have experienced it, but also for those who resonate with the galactic aspect. They bring in some of that galactic experience as well. So, in this renewal cycle that we're going through, because humanity has gone through different cycles, right? This one is the strongest because we're bringing all of that experience with us.
Mhm.
And that's why, like, I feel like that whole compression, right, that I was talking about, that quantum compression of things, is that quantum compression of like completions of like many lifetimes, right? And also of those lessons that we're learning from that. What we're learning from it becomes our wisdom. And so with that wisdom, are we able to like be a role model, would say, like be our own masters of energy, or light masters, as I would refer to many.
mhm.
David says, I've known since my pre birth that this is my last time in this realm. Does this mean that everything is predestined?
So yeah, thank you for sharing that. I would say that there's some things that we are destined and some things that we are, also setting into motion through our own choices. That's why so many of our timelines are shifting so fast because everybody's just like a lot of stuff coming up all at once. And so we're making decisions like faster than ever, on an impulse sometimes. And so I would say that some things are predestined in a way, like part of my destiny was to move to Mount Shasta, which is where I live now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What an awesome place to live, too. Wow.
Yeah, is a
So, for our audience who don't understand what light language is, could you sort of explain that to them?
yeah, so to me, like I just described it as sound healing. It was really coming in from my own like voice, but when I do get into like a trance, um, I usually channel like a lot of angels and sometimes, the dragons who accompany the angels. The way that my light language works is it works different for everybody who does it. It's very alchemizing, so it goes to like a lot of layers of if there's certain like patterns that are really buried within the subconscious layer that we're not so aware. Some of it we are, but this just cuts right through like several layers, and so people will experience different things. Like sometimes they'll get a clairvoyant moment, like a very clear visual or vision of like where it all started. Or sometimes they'll get like their clear audience like sharpen, and they'll start hearing like the actual like messages, coming through. Or they'll feel it in their body and feel the energy, and they'll manifest or show up in a different way for everybody. And sometimes some of my clients have called my energy like an energy spa. And so, others have described it, very like transformative, like very quantum transformative. So it's really cutting through the BS or the bullshit, that
Yep.
sometimes it may take like years of therapy of talking, right? And just talking and talking, talking, which is great to release and talk, in that way. But this is just like it's all pure energy of like, you don't have to like really talk that much, but just receive pretty much.
Mhm.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, we are beings of frequency.
Mhm.
We all are, and our chakras are at a different frequency. So we
Mhm.
are actually beings of frequency having an earthly experience.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yes, that's right. And,
And in regards to light language, right? Language of light. Light.
mhm.
Light is source. It's source frequencies.
Mhm.
It's if I'm not mistaken. So when you open up and channel your light language, it's frequencies coming from source, and you are the vessel delivering.
Yeah, so I'm like the triggering point or the catalyst,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
activation, pretty much triggering any dormant DNA that's ready to like spark open, and in fact, we all have the ability to channel light language, and in the future, it's going to be so many of us that it's going to become a norm. There's a lot of things that are like the superhuman abilities, what I call them. They're really just a natural aspect of ourselves, and it's starting to get that way that it's becoming like the norm. The more that other people start to wake up to it and realize, they have these talents, I guess, and gifts within their soul, and that's really where it stands from is the soul level, and um, reconnecting, that aspect of self is nothing new for this life, and it's probably coming from like different lifetimes as well. So it's just like I said, it's just remembrance of that, becoming in a very renewed way. I would say.
Well, it's kind of like what I was taught with the medicine is that, and when I went through some of my teachings, they would say we were hollow bones. we were hollow bones for spirit's energy to run through us.
Mhm.
And so you're the same thing. You're just
Yeah,
like a hollow bone.
I love that. It's like saying the vessel, right? In the Hinduism tradition, they call it being an instrument. You
Mm,
know,
I like that too. Oh, that
yes.
gave me angel bumps.
yeah.
Yes, you're an instrument of source, and there's this one, and I think it may be the Lord Shiva, who I seen like his the images or the statues that they have where he's like playing a flute, right? Or playing a certain instrument. So we all serve as these tuning like different sources of like instruments that have a different tone of frequency. Like you were just saying just now, Raven, like, having these different frequencies. So yeah, so we are like these different instruments where source plays a tune through us, tuning in that different frequency for us that is unique to our soul signature, I would say.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
I like that.
And may I ask when, because I did read a little bit about your bio, and when you started your light language, it was spontaneous?
Yeah, so what's funny about that it's not really in my bio, but I was remembering this like a few months ago because I was thinking to myself, why is it that I didn't really do like the light language earlier, why like later? But then when I asked that question, sometimes my guys would pop in like an image, right? A remembrance or something. So and I remember when I was doing a presentation, that was the image that they showed me. I was doing this presentation for a group like years ago, because I was doing things through like the mysticism that I study, right? I would do like private meditations or private group, presentations. And I remember when I was doing a meditation that I heard in my mind like these sounds, that and I didn't like I dismissed it because it just sounded like it was just gibberish, you know? And so, because that's kind of what light language can sound to someone in the human ear, right? If you're listening to it from a rational mind, like, the human ear. And so I was thinking, it's like, what is that sound? Because it just seemed like it wanted to come through, but I didn't like really say it like vocally. It was just like in my mind. And so people, every time they would do a meditation with me, they will come up very different. Like the energy was definitely being received, but I just wasn't saying it then. And then like later on, when I started to really like work after the divorce, which catalyzed so many things for me, right? Like really stepping into more of like being of service in public, like I am right now. That I started to really work on myself and a lot of patterns that were associated to my low self-esteem and lack of self-worth and all this other stuff, which were my biggest ones. When I fully started to build those foundations of like self-love in myself, was I more open, more relaxed to allow messages to resurface and download of information. That's when I started to like really feel like the language start to, it started to pour out, and so I didn't do it as a business just yet because I was still working through my own self-doubts and so like I really wanted to like, build those foundations. So I didn't really think there was anything that was coming through. So I started to experiment with like other people like, around me who were open to it. And I remember the first person that I tried this with, I said, "Are you open to like receiving, some of this light language? I don't know what it's gonna do, but what do you want? What do you want to get out of it, first of all, before I transmit?" And so she told me, what she wanted to clear some things. And so I went ahead and just channeled it. And she said her whole body was like burning. But it was like a good burn, it was like something was like the sacred fires of like uh alchemizing,
Hmm.
whatever was being dissolved that she was setting an intention on. And so I thought, okay, this must be real. But yeah, so that's I didn't have like a mentor or like a guide. I would say like my biggest guide for me was Toss. Thoth, who's an ancient Egyptian god. If you're familiar with him,
Mm-hmm.
I am. Yeah.
but he's actually known to be the one who helped goddess Isis with her light language or something like that. And so I really felt that connection with him, and so I felt like he was like helping me to like remember in a way, reactivate that in me to be able to like say it. So it took years later for me to like really build my confidence to really step in as a business, to do it as a business. Um, so I really, because a lot of it was tied to my self-worth and all this other stuff. But yeah, so that, took some time to really get into it. So now like when I hear people who say that they're starting to speak it, I, help them to like remember, who they are. That whole empowerment, this is perfect, talk for this Lionsgate portal, right? Because it's all about our power, reclaiming our power pretty much, and not, giving it up to other people's opinions of like what they think they hear or see in you or their perception of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really your own power, is how you perceive yourself and how you see yourself, and that's all that matters, and so that is the biggest message of this Lionsgate portal for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Deborah Williams says, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And in regards to like all that you have to offer on your like for your services, I also seen that you work with the dragons and
Mhm.
masters and all that fun magical stuff, all the
Yeah.
magical beings. And so how are or may I ask, like, what type of sessions do you have to offer besides the light language to help
Mhm.
recalibrate someone's auric field? How, if I wanted to have a session and work with some dragons, how would that transpire for us?
So I have private sessions that is just with the dragons that are listed in my private session section of the website.
Mhm.
And then I also have some other ones that have a theme to it, right? There's a new one that I started as a quantum disentanglement, and that is to really work at a deeper level. If, like, for instance, you're getting like psychic attacks or you're getting like power leaks, or energy cores, so really like digging in deep, into those energy cores and really breaking them, and another one that I just also started is like more of this healing chamber, which is like working with a lot of the angelic chambers of healing, and also like a lot of the Lemurian temples for healing as well. And yeah, so there's just so many, like there's temples in the astral world, there's temples of all kinds, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these are serving to be of healing because there's so much that is coming up that is so overwhelming, and sometimes we need that assistance, of energy support, and I do that, and I am still investing myself, and I look for, others who can really help me as well, and I think it's just like a community way of helping one another, right? And it's who resonates for you. Um, so there's all sorts of like different packages there on my website. There's even one that I started just for those who like want to explore activating their light language and turning it into a business and receiving that mentorship, and that guidance as well, which is what I didn't get, when I started. So it took me a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
this would be like in a much more sacred space, that is more the quantum level of like working, so you don't have to wait like years of trusting yourself to do it, because I will be there to encourage you as well. And, I can be used as a practicing board too, so and also because I can help to refine, some of these light languages that are coming through, and it is working with the ancient god of thoughts as well, bringing in some of his transmissions, the way that he helped me and stuff, and that would help them. So yeah, so a lot of that will be there for anybody who's interested in exploring. and I can always like, jump on a call just for a few minutes and discuss, what resonates for them as well. Kind of like a discovery call. Um,
Yeah.
or I call it like a heart discovery call, whatever. Um,
I
but
like that.
yeah, so it was a lot of fun, being in this Lionsgate portal, sharing this message with all of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for the Sacred Heart Awakenings, I do realize that you had some times that, um, if I'm not mistaken, you had to go through a complicated divorce, and then that's when you really discovered the Sacred Heart, like the Sacred Heart.
Hmm.
um, so, would you like to tell us a little bit about like the Sacred Heart
Yeah.
code
So,
that
so
you?
the Sacred Heart, I don't know if some of you have heard it in the religion context, right? This is
Mhm.
not coming from a religious context. This is actually coming from an empowerment that we all have it. It's not just, you know, Jeshua or Cosmic Master Jeshua. So I see him as a Cosmic Master. Uh,
Mhm.
and so it's not just him having it. It's not just, Mother Mary either. They were role models. They were telling us that this is what we're becoming now. They were talking to us now. And so there's this return of the Christ consciousness, and it's coming in much stronger in the divine feminine energy, the Christed divine feminine energy, which is like a really powerful, archetype that is held within each and every one of us. Doesn't matter if it's male or female. And so that blueprint that is also like a big part of us is a big part of that Sacred Heart space. I carry some very unique codes that are very alchemical, that brings the entire heart to its wholeness. So like what happens is like we have an upper heart here, right around here.
Mhm.
And that one represents like our compassion and our unity consciousness. And sometimes you could feel it like in your throat chakra when, you get shocked by something, or you're feeling like sad, by a loss or a heartbreak. It feels like this gets cut off, right? Like you can't speak or something because it's connected to that, upper heart. And it's almost like people say, like swallowing your heart, I guess,
Mm.
and but what happens is like our other aspect of our heart, I don't want to sound like it is like any other is better than the other when I say upper or lower, hearts. Like these are just like components that are part of the bigger picture of the heart chakra that are meant to be reconnected actually in its wholeness. And so what happens when we go through heartbreak, it feels like there is that disconnection or separation. So when they come into union in this alchemical form, and I like to think of it as the union of divine feminine, divine masculine. So it is like a twin flame energy. And you create this space that is the sacred heart space. And that is the wholeness of your own sacred space and holiness within you. That is the gateway to your soul of your remembrance and who you are, and that reconnection and that renewal.
It's beautifully said. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
So, so tell me, how are you guys experiencing this Lionsgate? And
I have been getting lots and lots of downloads and doing a lot of creating right now. I'm creating new stuff for my website. And
nice.
Mhm.
what about you, Lisa?
Mhm. I like to make crystal grids.
Mm,
So that is what I will be tuning into a little later after we close the show. So I'll myself will do some meditation, connecting with the energies, and I do like to, like I said, create a special crystal grid. And for those that are not familiar with crystal grids, what, of course, playing with pretty pretty crystals.
Yeah.
And typically, I just tune into my intuition and which ones at the moment, meaning which crystals vibrate for me to work with. So, me personally, I like to use crystals that connect with like the solar energies and
Mm.
yeah. And crystal grids are a really good way to remind you of what it is that your intention is in this crystal grid. And there's
Mhm.
generally a center point and then little crystals all around it. And it's a wonderful reminder because as you create that crystal grid and you're setting your intention and you leave that grid every day, when you look at it, you are beaming your intention and you're
Mhm.
remembering. So it helps you to stay
Yeah.
focused on what that intention is that you place in the crystal grid when you're
Yeah.
being created. So that's what I look
Kind of
for.
like a kind of like a sigil, where a
Mhm.
sigil goes to the unconscious mind, and
Yeah.
so you're creating like a sigil. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I consider like crystals like archivists, like um programming tools, right? We set our intentions to it. And they carry that, for us. And it's a really beautiful thing to do, especially for this Lionsgate, to do
Mhm.
like the grid crystals.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you do a lot of grid work on the earth too, Lisa.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I
Yes.
would think that today would be an awesome day to do grid work for
Yeah.
the Earth Mother, you know.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Ab-
definitely. If you like, whoever feels called to like do it, on their own, it's a perfect time to do that.
yes.
And you mentioned earlier, like way earlier towards the beginning of the show, something about water. And
Mhm.
you had said something about water, and it triggered something in me because I just got this book. Deborah Williams recommended it, and I can't remember who the author is, but it's all about, you know, how the scientists did the water experiment
Mhm.
Hmm.
where he had, you know, put anger into it and he froze
Mhm.
it. Well, this woman has put like set a picture beside the glass of water,
Mhm.
froze it, and the image of the picture is in the water
Hmm.
Mm.
because water has a remembrance. And it
Yes.
just really doesn't have much to do with the show. It's just that when you had said something, oh, it's Vida Austin who
Hmm.
wrote the book, and it's an amazing book. But nothing to do with the Lionsgate or this show. But
Well, I mean, it does in a way because
it,
like we are made mostly of water, and that was the whole point that Dr. Emoto Masuro did that whole experiment with the water for like years,
Hmm.
right? Where he would do it before and after, like, and after being like after he prayed over it, and see like the changes in the water itself. And so what the intentions that we set now during this Lionsgate portal, right? Obviously drink a lot more water too.
yeah,
You and but as you're setting those intentions that, knowing that you're mostly of water, it's also receiving that, it is a big part of the reception and the manifestation and so forth. So that's why it's a very potent portal for that. And also just to be aware, of what you're thinking and saying right now, because everything is like really accelerated as far as manifestation.
Hmm.
And I noticed that up to this point, like this whole week, it just felt like these 5 days felt like a day. Like time has been so compressed and accelerated. So I don't know how many of you are feeling that too.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
For sure. I'll,
Yeah.
to me, when it's Friday, I'm like, how did it get here so quick? It just felt
Exactly.
like
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're in this like promotional like fast track, quantum fast track of our promotion, like
yeah,
being upgraded, in other words, like
yes, yes.
I don't know, be like Monica 5.0 and Raven 5.0 and like versions.
Lisa 5.0. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So be careful of your thoughts because you're actually listening to them too,
Yes.
especially during this time.
Yes. Yes. Very potent. So yeah, I have to keep reminding myself, like, wait a second, when I find myself thinking about something, no, change the story, to like
Yep.
be
Change
a
the
happy
story.
outcome, like successful, winning, being grateful that you have it now, because gratitude in the present moment also accelerates that as well, as if you have it already. Um, so if you're looking to get a new car, just be like, thank you for my brand new car, and I'm so grateful for this brand new car.
Yeah.
Let it be, how it manifests itself and like,
You don't have to control that manifestation.
exactly.
It will, and it will come in the best way too.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Awesome.
Yes.
So, and this is actually the Lionsgate is a great time for manifestation. It is.
Yeah. So, I invite everybody, especially who's listening to this, whether they're listening to this in the future, because it is still the present that we set the intention of like a financial freedom, for all of us, and however that way that is, and the more of us come together, we also shift that timeline into like whole new structures that are more in service of like the collective, and changing that whole like enslavement's what I call it, like system that is in place right now, but
Yes.
looking at it more from a liberated way of like financial freedom for all of us.
Yeah. And talking about that, some of us, we do that self talk. And I got a message this week not to make myself small anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And to believe that I deserve it.
Yes.
And so a lot of us have been trained by the enslavement
Mm-hmm.
to make ourselves small.
Yes. Limited, lacked.
Yeah. And, and not to believe that we deserve it. And we definitely do. We do.
Mm-hmm.
We deserve so much. And of course, that was just the messages that I got. But
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful. For sure. This is like a time to like really break free from those cycles that we've been, I guess, quantum entangled with. And just pretty much disentangle and reprogram self to know that, we're all worthy and that we're deserving of like everything we have and more.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And we all deserve to be financially, emotionally, and spiritually abundant.
Yes.
And we don't have to make ourselves small. If we have a gift, don't make ourselves small.
Mm-hmm.
Take that gift and use it towards the collective.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, so where it is like about the collective service, and that's really what all this energy combination is about. Tomorrow, I don't know if you know, but there's a heightened full moon that's in Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the Aquarius energy, which is about the collective,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of water too, because Aquarius, associated to water. Here we go, coming back to water again. So like,
Yep.
Yep.
And
Well,
and the moon controls the water. The water
exactly.
in our body.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. Yep. So it's all related.
it is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
Now, Monica, before you joined us this evening, you said you were before you came to join us, you were in ceremony. Do you have like a community, or was it just for you personally that you were doing ceremony, or do you offer group?
Yeah. I do have group ceremonies, but I got called to do this Lionsgate ceremony today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Usually I do just a transmission, but I felt called to do like a master heart um, part of it, like a 2 hour, it's like a 2 hours, like for 1 hour was the master heart. I say master heart because if you heard a mastermind, right? I changed it to master heart because it's
There
all
you
related to the lion heart. And so our own empowerment, which I combined with our solar plexus and had a whole conversation about our own empowerment. And then we got into the transmission as a group um, with a lot of the serious, like temple energy was the lion goddess energy. So there's a lot of that that I did today. And so I do have like one of the things that not too many people know is that I have a very active solar plexus portal. And actually, our chakras are meant to be portals. And so I really activated my portal like really early when I really broke a contract that I had with a collective ancestry, like soul family and everything. And when I broke it, it just like quadrupled the portal open. Like, and so it was like, and it had to do with like working hard. Like I had to prove my worth, through working hard. And it was really hurting, like in my solar plexus. I really felt that it really wanted to just like pop out. It's almost like a volcanic eruption, of the solar plexus energy of like stagnant stuff. And it feels like that is happening as well right now for this Lionsgate portal for this year in particular. There's a lot that wants to erupt that's been rotting, like old stagnant energy that no longer serves us, and to reclaim our power. And so when I was doing the ceremony today, my solar plexus was really pulsating like front and back. And so that's how all our chakras are meant to be, like fully open front and back. Um, and of course, always keep yourself protected, right? And I always do that. There's like extra layers of protection on my portal.
Yes.
But it's used for that purpose to like assist others, going through these transformational like activations in quantum space. It works at a very quantum level. So that's what I did, like, earlier today. That ceremony was really beautiful. And so I have other group programs that I'm going to be working on putting other group programs together. But right now I have one that's the around the new moon that I call the multiversal circle of creation. So it is like bringing in the multiverse energy. And where I live in Mount Shasta, I'm also like serving in a different like cosmic avatar level that I don't always know what my cosmic avatar is doing, but I sometimes get glimpses. But it does work with a lot of the mountain energy through the universe and the multiverse.
Wow.
And so it's like, and so sometimes I have to like keep myself like so recalibrated and integrated, because I am like this huge bridge of like gateway of energies of cosmic energy, but
Mm.
also like a telos like point, like sacred point for them. Like and so yeah, so my home has been like put together and structured to be like in connection with Telos as well. If you're familiar with Telos, it's
Inner
a
Earth.
city under the mountain that's not just Lemurian, but it has like many other beings as well that are of the light and love. And but yeah, so that's really I have those group offerings, and I have the private sessions for those who really want to go deeper, just for themselves. Um, but yeah, so thanks for asking that question.
Awesome.
And so we have the question that we ask all of our guests. What message would you like to leave our audience with today?
Remember who you are and know that you are powerful already, and you're already abundant, you're already worthy. So just know that to be true, and that is all you need to know. The rest just is coming together. It is own divine timing, but I would use this time right now, the Lionsgate portal, to your advantage to set those really powerful intentions of moving into your highest timeline.
Beautiful, beautiful. Monica, it has been such a pleasure and such a blessing to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Raven and Lisa.
I feel like we should have you again another time too, you know.
I would love to.
I could not find your book online. Where can we get your book?
So if you go to the website that you just posted, it's like right in the homepage.
Uh-huh.
Scroll down. But I can also post it, I guess, in other emails, or I can send it to you in email.
Oh, that's
Yeah, but
okay.
if you go to this website here, if you go to the homepage, if you scroll down, you'll find that there's Amazon and Balboa links there.
Oh, okay. I looked on Amazon. I must not have had the right thing. But it's okay.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
But thank you so much. That is
Well,
awesome. And
well,
it was
thank
so
you.
nice to have you on the show.
So nice to
And,
meet both of you in the audience. So thank you for being here.
and Sam Blue says, thank you so much, Monica.
Thank you, Sam. All right.
So
And
we're all going to go enjoy the Lionsgate portal.
yeah,
Thank you
I'm excited.
all.
Thank you.
Blessings. Take care.
Blessings.
Much love to you.
So much love. Thank you so much. We will see you again, beautiful goddess. Thank you so
See
much.
you soon. See you soon.
Yes.
Take care. Bye.
We hope you have enjoyed watching Soulfire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Lovelight. You can also watch Soulfire Ascension on YouTube and Rumble at Soulfire Ascension, or listen to us on Spotify. Please like, share, and subscribe. Soulfire Ascension is sponsored by RavensHealingarts.com.